You're the former trade commissioner. Your new role is over across European Union finances. You were at the Latvian Central Bank. You were the Prime Minister of Latvia. A lot of experience in this space. You said this morning, I think, that it's hard. What is happening with the trade talks right now is hard for Europe, and it's harder for the United States. Does that mean in this negotiation that time is basically on your side, that Trump's hand is getting weaker?
First of all, as regards tariffs, indeed, we see them as economically counterproductive, leaving negative economic impact both on the EU, but even more so on the US economy. So we have done some simulations. Of course, they depend very much on scenarios chosen amidst this very large uncertainty concerning trade policy, but to give some ideas, so we estimate a negative economic impact on EU economy at 0.2% this year and next, whereas on US economy at 0.8% this year and 1.3% next year. And negative impact on world economy somewhere in a range 0.406%. So therefore, from the EU side, we are engaging with the US administration, trying to find solutions to avoid this negative scenario and find a mutually acceptable solution.
But in some crude sense, if it is worse for the US and giving us more pain in these negotiations, doesn't that mean that in some sense you can afford more to wait? Are you looking at it that way or no?
First of all, it's worth noting that right now we have this 90 days pause when Trump at least partially suspended its quote-unquote reciprocal tariffs. And from our side, we have also suspended our first set of counter tariffs. So this is a window of opportunity to negotiate right now, because we had been very clear that our preference is to find a negotiated solution. We have put forward also some concrete proposals, like purchasing more US LNG, cooperating in generally more in area of energy, also proposal on zero for industrial goods, and so on. So we are trying to find a solution and way forward. But we have also indicated that in absence of solution, we are ready to defend our companies, our workers, and to come with countermeasures. Those countermeasures are currently suspended, so we need to use this window of 90 days.
Do you feel you've gotten clear signals from United States negotiators of what they want?
That's exactly the issue, that more clarity would be wished there, because this engagement obviously requires clarity from both sides. From our side, as I was mentioning, we had already put forward some concrete proposals and certainly are ready to discuss.
So they say they're negotiating, but there are no proposals?
Well, currently, indeed, one would wish for a more clarity on expectations on US side.
Do you feel at a higher level that you sort of personally have clarity about what Trump wants? Does he want a 0 for 0 free trade regime? Does he want all manufacturing here? I think we don't really know. Do you feel you know?
What we know is the negative economic effect of the tariffs, and that is what we want to avoid. And that's why we came with different proposals, including 0 for 0. So far, we haven't got any positive feedback on this proposal.
This is a very question about Washington now, but do you feel that the people you are talking to, like Jameson Greer, are talking to Trump? Do you think that they actually represent the U.S. government? Can you tell?
First of all, it's worth noting that I'm not the trade
I know,
negotiator.
I'm sorry, we'll get to the economy
I'm not talking
quickly.
also directly with
yes, your former role.
Yes, exactly. So it's I used to be trade commissioner in previous European Commission, so now it's my successor, Maroš Šefčovič, who is more engaged in those talks. So my direct counterpart from that point of view is Scott Besant, but I'm noting that he is now being more involved in those trade negotiations as well.
Ursula von der Leyen said recently that the EU is open for business, that in their talks obviously with Latin America and elsewhere. Is the EU open for business with China?
As regards China, we share a number of US concerns on industrial overcapacity, on China's non-market policies and practices. So we are ready also to discuss with the United States how to best address those issues. Actually, we had a good platform for engagement in previous mandates, the EU-US Trade and Technology Council, and we have flagged also the Trump administration that we would find it useful to continue with this or similar format also looking forward. It allowed us also to address many questions related to China, but also much broader set of questions. Well, as regards EU policy towards China, we had been formulating it as a way of de-risking, but not decoupling. China is, by the way, our second largest trading partner after the US. So we obviously continue this engagement with China, but there are also certain strategic dependencies which we need to address. For example, in area of rare earths, where there are certain rare earths or critical minerals where China is dominating the global supply chain, and those are the areas where we need to de-risk and to diversify our relationship.
There is some concern that as if the U.S. remains in a trade war with China, that you'll see cheap Chinese products flood Europe, and that they'll sort of provoke further deindustrialization in Europe. Are you worried about that?
Indeed, this is obviously the concern, because with U.S. market close to Chinese goods, the question is where all those goods and where all this industrial overcapacity will go. And a lot will depend also how China will react to this situation. Will it act as a responsible global citizen and will be able to find a way forward? But obviously, if we'll see dumping of those goods in European market, we'll have to react and protect our market, as we, by the way, have recently done with Chinese battery electrical vehicles.
Is President von der Leyen going to travel to China this quarter?
Well, I cannot now announce specific travel plans of the president. It's for her to announce those travel plans.
But would you anticipate a trip soon?
As you know, generally speaking, we are engaged with China, and generally speaking, we aim to diversify our trade relationships with various partners around the world. Especially in a current more uncertain situation. So that's why we recently concluded the trade agreement with Mercosur, modernized our agreement with Mexico, with Switzerland. We are negotiating trade agreements with a number of countries, India, Indonesia, amongst others. Just a few weeks ago, we started negotiations with United Arab Emirates and so on and so forth, because we also see that diversification is part of this response. EU has already the largest network of trade agreements around the world, but we are seeking to further expand and deepen those relationships.
On the question of China, obviously the trade war with the US is the second most important war happening in Europe right now. And China, has supported Russia, or at least through its war in Ukraine. To what degree is China's role in that war linked to Europe's willingness to trade with them? Do you think that there's possibility for China to play a constructive role to pull Russia back?
Certainly China has lots of leverage in this regard, and if it wanted to be more active in containing Russia's aggression, it certainly had quite a few levers to do so. But in reality, we saw China taking quite ambiguous position in this Russia's aggression against Ukraine, and this is something we had indicated also to our Chinese counterparts. given that this is an essential security threat for entire Europe, because it's not only Russia's aggression against Ukraine. Russia is openly talking about invading other countries, about restoring empire, and so on and so forth.
So will that be linked to trade talks?
In any case, that is linked to our overall political and economical relations.
I mean, do you think that as the U.S. maybe steps away from Russia, from negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, that there's a Chinese role there?
What we think that first and foremost, there cannot be negotiations about peace in Ukraine without Ukraine. So obviously Ukraine has to be in a driving seat. And second, that we need to achieve a just and lasting peace. Not just some kind of peace which allows Russia to regroup, to restock, and to continue its aggressive wars either in Ukraine or against other countries.
And this is, in the time we have left, this is, audience includes a lot of people considering investing in Europe. Part of your mandate now is simplification. Can you quickly persuade people that this time Europe is serious about becoming more investable effectively and following the Draghi recommendations? Well,
first of all, already now we see that our stability and predictability, respect for the rule of law is already proving a strength. And we have...
compared to the US?
And we have, I would say globally, and we already now have a stronger investor interest in euro-denominated assets. That's something we are seeing already now. We obviously need to leverage our single market, which is our largest economic asset, so the market of 450 million consumers. So we need to address remaining barriers in a single market. And obviously, cutting red tape and bureaucracy is part of this overall work to strengthen Europe's competitiveness, and already we started with very ambitious proposals in terms of burden reduction as regards sustainability reporting, and we will be following it with new proposals in different areas across the entire European Commission mandate.
Well, that was fascinating and very careful. Thank you for
thank you.
Thank you for taking the time.